A very good morning to all our viewers. You're watching Rajya Sabha Television and I'm Smriti Rastogi with Breakfast News. And before we begin the bulletin, a quick look at the top headlines of the day. Last day of campaigning for the fifth phase of Uttar Pradesh, 51 constituencies across 11 districts to vote on February 27th. Center to deploy 30 additional companies of paramilitary forces in Manipur with total 280 companies. It is the highest for this elections. Shiv Sena meeting today over future strategy following CIVIC poll results. Party's tally goes up to 87 after 3 independents joined the fold. BJP rules out any truck with Congress. After strategic dialogue with India, Chinese ambassador says resolving international issues will take time, cautions that neither country should try to rush things. And Australia resumed their second innings in the first test in Pune, lead India by over 310 runs on day 3. And first are the election-related stories. It is the last day of campaigning for the fifth phase of elections in Uttar Pradesh. 51 seats spread across 11 districts will be voting on February 27th. The districts include Rahul Gandhi's parliamentary constituency Amethi. The other districts are Balrampur, Gonda, Faizabad, Ambedkar Nagar, Bahraich, Shravasti, Siddharth Nagar, Basti, Sant Kabir Nagar and Sultanpur. Following the death of the Samajwadi Party candidate, the Election Commission postponed the elections in Alapur constituency, which will now be held on 9th of March. The Samajwadi Party had won 37 seats out of 52 in 2012 assembly polls, while BJP and Congress won 5 seats each. BSP had won 3, while the Peace Party won 2 seats in this phase. Counting of the votes will take place on 11th of March. And campaigning ahead of the fifth phase of voting in Uttar Pradesh Assembly elections, Prime Minister Narendra Modi addressed an election rally in Gonda. Chief Minister Akhilesh Yadav also addressed 7 rallies, while his alliance partner and Congress Vice President Rahul Gandhi held 3 campaign rallies on Friday.
Campaigning for the fifth phase of Uttar Pradesh Assembly elections 2017 on Friday, Prime Minister Narendra Modi addressed a rally in Gonda. Invoking Lord Shiva on Mahashivratri, the Prime Minister said, with their third eye, people can see what is good for them and what is bad. Asserting his resolve to weed out corruption, Modi attacked the opposition, saying big forces are out to mislead the country. He urged the people of Uttar Pradesh to elect a BJP government with full majority. Also on the PM's target was the law and order situation in the state.
भाइयों बहनों, कोई भी डर जाए, इतना इन्होंने हमला बोला हुआ है, इतना झूठ फैलाया हुआ है, भ्रमित करने का प्रयास किया है, लेकिन मैं देशवासियों को सर झुका करके नमन करता हूं कि देश की जनता ने सच क्या है, ईमानदारी से देश की भलाई की कोशिश क्या है, उसका साथ पकड़ा है.
Chief Minister Akhilesh Yadav attacked the BJP and the BSP in several rallies held in Ayodhya, Faizabad and Akbarpur districts. In a rally in Faizabad district, the Akhilesh lashed out at BJP's attempt to polarize voters. He said while the SP talks about giving laptops and smartphones to people, BJP is still trapped in the Kabristan versus Samshan debate. Akhilesh challenged Modi for a debate on the issue of development. He also accused the BSP of transferring its vote to the BJP in the Lok Sabha elections.
हम तो कहते हैं प्रधानमंत्री जी से कि अगर कोई काम की बहस करनी हो तो हम बहस करने के लिए तैयार हैं. बहुत उनकी सुन ली हमने रेडियो पे मन की बात, लोगों ने सुनी टीवी पे भी मन की बात, और हम समाजवादी लोग पूछ रहे हैं, प्रधानमंत्री जी कब करोगे काम की बात, और अगर एक भी काम किया हो तो बता दो हमें। उत्तर प्रदेश की जनता ने सबसे ज्यादा लोकसभा के सांसद भेज दिए।
Congress Vice President Rahul Gandhi also joined in his alliance partner SP in slamming the BJP for ignoring the farmers and the youth of the state. Addressing a crowd at a rally in Basti, Rahul asked voters to elect a government for the youth, farmers and the poor instead of those who spread only hatred. He also addressed rallies in Bahraich and Balrampur.
2 करोड़ युवाओं को रोजगार देने का वायदा किया। अब बताइए, पिछले साल नरेंद्र मोदी जी की सरकार ने हिंदुस्तान में कितने युवाओं को रोजगार दिया? उनका मंत्री खड़ा होता है, कहता है कि साहब 2 करोड़ वायदा तो किया था, मगर सच्चाई ये है कि पिछले साल पूरे हिंदुस्तान में हमने एक व्यक्ति को रोजगार नहीं दिलवाया।
52 seats will go to polls in this phase on February 27th. The results will be announced on March 11th.
In last assembly elections in 2012, Samajwadi Party got 4 out of 5 seats in Faizabad. But in these elections, party is facing a difficult challenge because it's a triangular fight this time, and Bahujan Samaj Party is making it more difficult for Samajwadi Party. With cameraman Anirban, this is Shyam Sundar, Rajya Sabha TV, Faizabad.
And for more on this, we'll go across to our correspondent Shyam Sundar, who is joining us live from Faizabad. Shyam, first of all, I just want to ask you, today is the last day of campaigning for the 5th phase of elections in Uttar Pradesh. How have the political parties fared so far?
Well, as far as 5th phase is concerned, 52 seats are there, and if you talk about 2012, Congress and Samajwadi Party combined got 42 seats, and out of 42 seats, 38 seats were gone to Samajwadi Party. So stakes are really high for Samajwadi Party in 5th phase, and we have seen Akhilesh Yadav, Chief Minister, holding rallies after rallies yesterday in Faizabad and Ambedkar Nagar. He held 7 rallies, and he is trying to convince the voters that the development work he has started, he will complete, and now he will focus on the issue of employment, education and issues related to farmers. On other part, there is BJP. BJP lost Ayodhya seat after 25 years in 2012, and BJP is working hard to get back that seat. And because this time most of the seats are seeing a triangular fight, because Bahujan Samaj Party has given 2 Muslim candidates in Faizabad district, and it is making difficult for Samajwadi Party, because minority votes generally they go with the Samajwadi Party, but this time Bahujan Samaj Party is also a very strong player in 5th phase, and especially areas like Ambedkar Nagar and Faizabad. So every political party is trying to convince their voters to get their votes.
Right, Shyam. Shyam, thank you so much for joining us and giving us all those latest information from Uttar Pradesh, which is going to polls day after tomorrow, that is on Monday and 27th of February. Remember, this is the last day of campaigning for the 5th phase of elections. Moving on to some more election-related news. Election fever is high in poll-bound Uttar Pradesh, is reaching newer heights by each passing day. BJP Chief Amit Shah addressed 2 rallies in Deoria and Azamgarh on Friday. Responding to former Delhi Chief Minister Sheila Dikshit's comments, Amit Shah targeted the Congress Vice President Rahul Gandhi, calling him an immature person. He also asked Rahul Gandhi to state what his party has been doing for the last 60 years.
उत्तर प्रदेश के अच्छे दिन कब आएंगे? 11 मार्च को मतगणना होगी, सुबह 8 बजे मतगणना शुरू होगी, 9 बजे 10 राउंड समाप्त होंगे, 10 बजे 15 राउंड समाप्त होंगे, 12 बजे मतगणना समाप्त होगी, 1 बजे अखिलेश सरकार समाप्त हो जाएगी.
Alongside, Rajnath Singh also addressed a rally in Gorakhpur in which he accused earlier governments of corruption. He also added that none of the BJP leaders had ever been accused of corruption.
चाहे अटल जी की सरकार का कोई मंत्री हो अथवा मोदी जी की सरकार का मंत्री हो, किसी के दामन पर कोई भ्रष्टाचार की दाग लगी हुई हो या कोई उंगली उठाकर नहीं करता। आप जानते हैं इस हकीकत को कि सपा और बसपा के मुख्यमंत्रियों पर भ्रष्टाचार के आरोप लगे, आय से अधिक संपत्ति के मामले को लेकर भी उनके खिलाफ FIR दर्ज हुई, CBI जांच चल रही है। लेकिन बहनों भाइयों, भारतीय जनता पार्टी, चाहे वो कल्याण सिंह जी रहे हों, जयराम प्रकाश जी गुप्त रहे हों अथवा मैं रहा, हम लोगों के दामन के ऊपर कोई भ्रष्टाचार का दाग लगाने की हिम्मत नहीं कर पाए।
Meanwhile, Prime Minister Narendra Modi will be holding a rally in poll-bound Manipur today. The venue of the rally was shifted from Kangla Fort to Langching Achoba. This after Irong Sharmila's party raised objections, citing the venue as a sacred place for the people of the state. The state police recovered a hand grenade and a bomb in Imphal West district where the PM's rally is slated. The recovery comes even as an apex body of 6 rebel groups in Manipur. The coordination committee gave a complete shutdown call today. Security has been stepped up ahead of the PM's visit. State police has started round-the-clock search operations to prevent any untoward activity. State forces are also conducting search operations in the capital, including frisking of vehicles as part of beefing up the security apparatus. Polling for the 60-seat Manipur Assembly will take place in 2 phases on 4th and 8th of March. The centre will deploy an additional 30 companies of the Central Paramilitary Forces in Manipur for the smooth conduct of the State Assembly elections. This was informed by the State Chief Secretary, O. Navakishore. This takes the total companies of the Central Paramilitary Forces to 280 for these election duties. The state has been under a more than 3-month-long economic blockade imposed by the United Naga Council along the highways of the landlocked state. Manipur will witness the highest central forces deployment for the upcoming 2-phase elections.
Election Commission has written to Ministry of Defence to activate Assam Rifle and Army who are already operational in Manipur to effectively curb the movement of the insurgent elements, underground outfit, cadres. And we are also bringing 280 companies of CPMF, Central Paramilitary Armed Forces, who have been asked to do area domination prior to conduct of election, so that any scrupulous element is not allowed to affect or induce voters in any manner.
And the convener of the RTI cell of the BJP in Manipur, Harishwar Goswami, has joined the Congress. He was a former Trinamool Congress candidate for Yaksul Assembly constituency. During his felicitation, Harishwar said that BJP is incurring huge amount of money for the upcoming elections. Congress Chief Minister Okram Ibobi Singh welcomed him into the party.
I joined BJP with a lot of expectations regarding clean governance and all these things. But after working in the BJP for the last about more than 6 months, I found that there are a lot of differences with my expectations and what is really happening in the BJP. That is the main reason why I left BJP.
Meanwhile, the Election Commission has ordered registering FIRs against 3 candidates in Uttar Pradesh and 1 in Manipur. The move comes after a TV sting purportedly showed them indulging in electoral malpractices. The poll panel took cognizance of the sting by a private TV news channel and directed poll authorities in the 2 states to issue show-cause notices to the candidates and lodge FIRs under various sections of the IPC. The candidates are BSP's Atiq Ahmed Saifi, contesting from Moradabad, SP's Atul Garg from Agra North, and Peace Party's Rakesh Balmiki from Agra Cant. Voba Joram from Mao seat in Manipur is the other candidate against whom action has been ordered. And a day after the BMC polls threw up a hung verdict, all eyes are now on Shiv Sena and BJP. Both parties won over 80 seats each in the 227-member council, and the leaders are yet to spell out their next move. 3 rebel candidates who won as independent nominees returned to Shiv Sena fold, raising its tally of corporators to 87. Reaching the magic figure of 114 seats to rule the civic body, however, is still a far cry. Although Sena's former ally, the BJP, bagged 82 seats, it remains unclear if the two parties will join hands or new alliances will be formed. The BJP, that held its core committee meeting at Chief Minister Devendra Fadnavis's official residence last night, ruled out any tie-up with Congress to reach the magic figure, assuring that the next mayor will come from Sena. Party leader Uddhav Thackeray said that the future course of action will be decided at a meeting of all senior leaders and newly elected corporators that is slated to be held today. Besides the Sena and the BJP, the Congress won 31 seats, whereas the NCP and Raj Thackeray-led MNS finished with 9 and 7 seats respectively.
मेयर शिवसेना का ही होगा और आगे की रणनीति तय करेंगे माननीय उद्धव जी। जिस प्रकार से हम शिवसैनिकों को आदेश आएगा उस प्रकार से हम आगे काम करेंगे।
जहां तक अलायंस का मुद्दा है, माननीय मुख्यमंत्री स्वयं तय करेंगे। हम मानते हैं कि हमारी विचारधारा एक है। रही बात, जनता ने एक जनादेश दिया है जिसको हम स्वीकार करते हैं और उनके लिए हम काम करते जाएंगे।
And with that, it's time for a short break. On the other side, more news and updates. Stay tuned.
Tales that inspire. Stories of social change. A salute to diversity. Promoting public discourse. Events that motivate. Inspiring the innovative spirit. Watch Rajya Sabha television documentaries.
Welcome back. China says that resolving international issues with India will take time. It also cautioned that neither nation should rush into conclusions. 2 days after the conclusion of the strategic dialogue between the two countries in Beijing, China's ambassador said that both countries should focus on strengthening the relationships.
It's China's first official reaction after a strategic dialogue with India in Beijing on Wednesday. China says delicate issues like Masood Azhar and India's entry into the NSG will take time in getting resolved. It also said that a strategic dialogue that has restarted will decide the direction of the relations between the two countries.
No, China's support to India and to every country on the anti-terrorist matter will always be there. So something in detail, the discussion is still going on and it takes time.
And what do you think about NSG, sir?
Yes, it's the same. It's the same.
The Chinese ambassador said he was aware that media in both the nations prefer to focus on the tensions, when in fact the two nations should concentrate on cooperation.
Focus on these two issues. These two emerging issues are very important, but more important is the bilateral cooperation. The correspondent, I wish you can also cover some positive matters, some progress.
Experts feel that China's position is exclusively determined by its self-interest and that it has not deviated from it even one bit after a strategic dialogue. In this context, they question the very significance of the dialogue.
I can't see what is the basis of a strategic dialogue with China, because in a sense, China has for long been a strategic adversary. It has armed China, Pakistan with nuclear weapons, with missile technology that continues today. And the reason why they oppose our membership of the NSG is they have tagged it along with that of Pakistan. The reason why they are opposing the designation of Masood Azhar is because it will put Pakistan in the dock.
In this context, the Chinese ambassador's statement clearly reflects the inflexibility of Beijing's policy. In fact, it has refused to even acknowledge India's concern on China-Pakistan economic corridor. Given the state of affairs, India's holding the talks on these issues will continue. Akhilesh Suman's report for Rajya Sabha TV.
And on to some more news from the international front. The Indian embassy in the US has said that the government of India has taken up the killing of Indian techie with the US authorities. India has demanded speedy investigations. The embassy is closely monitoring the incident after a 32-year-old engineer from Hyderabad was killed and another was injured by a disgruntled American Navy veteran who shouted racial abuses. The US government has condemned the attack and have assured a thorough investigation into the matter.
A young Indian techie is the latest victim of a race crime in US Kansas City. 32-year-old Srinivas Kuchibhotla was shot dead by a former American Navy veteran. The 51-year-old shooter Adam Puritan opened fire at a crowded bar on Wednesday night as he yelled "terrorist" and "get out of my country." Kuchibhotla died of his bullet injuries in hospital while his colleague Alok Madasini was critically injured. Hailing from Hyderabad, Kuchibhotla was employed with the US technology company Garmin's headquarters in Olathe. The attacker was caught 5 hours later in Missouri. Kuchibhotla's family is in shock. They are blaming Donald Trump for their loss.
We want the body to be here earliest, at the earliest. We are waiting. This certainly shows that ये दिखाता है कि Trump is only the prime reason as of now.
The family has also appealed to the government to take up the matter.
Government should voice out this strongly because our brothers, sisters and our relatives and are there. And if you really look into this incident, this is not done by a teenager or a burglar or something like that, a drug addict. It is done by a 55-year-old man.
Minister of External Affairs Sushma Swaraj reached out to the bereaved family and promised all help. The US Embassy in New Delhi has condemned the shooting. The United States is a nation of immigrants and welcomes people from all across the world to visit, work, study and live. US authorities will investigate thoroughly and prosecute the case, though we recognize that justice is small consolation to families in grief, unquote. The unfortunate incident is just one of the many such incidents taking place in the United States. Experts blame Trump's non-liberal approach to immigration policies as the reason behind this.
And this shows that there is a dangerous trend amongst some disgruntled people. The unfortunate part is that in the run-up to the election, the passions have been whipped up quite a bit against immigration and foreigners.
The Telangana government has promised all help to the family members of the victim. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha Television.
And US President Donald Trump on Friday said that his long-promised wall along the US-Mexican border is going to start very soon and is way ahead of schedule. Addressing the Conservative Political Action Congress, Trump vowed to always put Americans first and build a great border wall and get bad people out of the country. His comments come a day after the Secretary of State Rex Tillerson and Homeland Security Secretary John Kelly met their Mexican counterparts in Mexico City. Neither made any mention of the wall in Thursday's news conference after their closed-door meetings. The border wall has been a key part of the Trump's political agenda from the start of his presidential campaign. A look at what else is making news across the world in World Wrap. Russia has vowed to use its veto to block a proposed UN resolution drafted by the US, France and Britain to impose sanctions on Syria for the use of chemical weapons. The trio are pushing for a vote early next week on the measure that would slap sanctions on 11 Syrians and 10 entities linked to the chemical attacks in the nearly 6-year war. Russia has used its veto 6 times so far to shield Damascus from any punitive action by the Security Council. US President Donald Trump vowed to bring the full force and weight of his government to combat human trafficking. In a meeting with organizations that deal with a specific issue, Trump made it clear that he will end these horrific crimes. Maximum cases were reported in California. According to media reports, Trump's daughter Ivanka Trump is behind the White House push on human trafficking. Italy has rescued around 2,750 migrants from boats in the Mediterranean Sea over 4 days. Some 250 migrants were rescued in 5 separate operations in the Mediterranean on Friday. The migrants were plugged from 9 flimsy vessels off the coast of Libya. To stop the flow, Italy and EU had pledged to fund migrant camps in Libya run by the UN-backed government and to supply equipment and training for the fight against smugglers. British Prime Minister Theresa May's Conservatives secured a landmark victory in a parliamentary by-election on Friday, strengthening her hand ahead of the Brexit negotiations as her rivals suffered damaging setbacks. The Conservatives captured the northwestern England seat of Copeland and Labours have held since 1935. The results point to May's tightening grip on political power following the Brexit vote and will be used as evidence that her strategy of pursuing a clean break with the EU. And on to some news from cricket. Australia resumed their second innings on day 3 of their first test in Pune today at an overnight score of 143 for 4. Currently, the visitors are at 195 for 5. Skipper Stephen Smith and Matthew Wade are at the crease. On Friday, spinner Steve O'Keefe rattled the Indian side with a 6-wicket haul as Australia bowled out the Indians for 105 runs. Stark was another standout performer for the Steve Smith-led side as they caught the Indian napping on a spinner-friendly wicket. The visitors have over 340-run lead. And that's all we have for you in this edition of Breakfast News. We will see you again tomorrow, same time. Till then, keep watching Rajya Sabha TV.